I don't know what his crucial mistake is, but if he's gonna say, "Oh my God, you're absolutely gonna lose this fight and you're gonna lose your reputation," nah, he's not going to. It's Mike Tyson is not the same man anymore.
Is on a mission to become the biggest name in boxing, and his plan is working. One by one, he's been going through respected, even legendary fighters in combat sports, and it's become impossible to ignore. Ben Askren TKO'd.
That's true.
Tyron Woodley KO'd.
Okay, so now if you don't know fighting and you hear KO'd, and you hear this big deal, first and foremost, Tyron Woodley was a wrestler. Ben Askren was a wrestler. And none of them really had any accolades within the boxing world. Beating them in the boxing world, maybe Tyron Woodley was a little bit of a thing, but Ben Askren, nobody in the MMA community ever thought Ben Askren was going to win. He has been fighting like this his whole life, like kiddie paws, but then he grabs a hold of you and just slams you on the ground.
Anderson Silva knocked down. Nate Diaz knocked down.
Anderson Silva was
built
good.
a highlight reel that's electric.
One of my favorite
But there's
fighters.
one person he's been dying to add to that list, Mike Tyson. Now, the biggest criticism Jake gets is that all he does is fight old, retired fighters that are well past their prime.
But that's not a criticism. That is legitimate concern. He lost to Tommy Fury, who's the only fighter he's fought in his own age bracket. So it's a little bit of a who. You know what I mean?
Right. When he fought Anderson Silva, for example, he was 25 years old, while Silva was 47.
Exactly 50.
People thought this was bad, but now he's taken it even further. In a matter of days, he'll be getting in the ring with a 58-year-old Mike Tyson, a man more than double his age, and there's only one thing on his mind.
Fuck Jake Paul. Fuck Jake Paul. I like that shit.
Listen, if Mike Tyson wins this, and Jake Paul loses this, Jake Paul is going to be seen as the laughingstock. If Jake Paul wins this, everybody's going to be like, why did you beat up a geriatric Mike Tyson? That's honestly the only two options right now. And that's the sad truth. That's the only two options right now. Nobody is ever going to give a shit about this.
Yeah. Hey, I hope y'all keep that same energy when I knock this old man the fuck out.
The bout was officially announced on March 7th, 2024. At the time, all we were told was that it would be held in the AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas, which has a capacity of around 100,000 people, and that it would be streamed live on Netflix, marking the streaming platform's first ever live boxing event. But that in itself was enough to tell you the fight would do outrageous numbers.
We all know how many people have Netflix. It's going to be so accessible, and therefore
100%.
the views will be insane.
On the day of the announcement, Jake uploaded a trailer to promote the fight on his YouTube channel, parodying many of Mike's most iconic moments, and the like to dislike ratio on the video says a lot. He wouldn't be fighting Mike when Mike was the same age. Bros in his
Yeah, but the thing is, Jake Paul is really good at one thing, and that is marketing. That's what he's good at. He's not really good at anything. Like, well, he's a good boxer now. Like, he's not... Anybody who says he's a bad boxer is kind of stupid, and the people who are saying he's the best boxer in the world is equally stupid. He's a good boxer, but fighting Mike Tyson in his prime is a death sentence. Like, he was that scary.
20s fighting a 60-year-old to prove himself. These are the type of comments that might get in someone's head, but for Jake, it's just fuel. For him, the only thing that matters is Tyson's name and legacy, not his age. Following his fight with Nate Diaz, he fought two guys with much smaller profiles, and even though he knocked them both out, there was nowhere near as much interest from the public. He knew he needed to come back in a big way, and what better way than fighting one of the...
I didn't even know he had fought these two guys, and that's the problem. If you don't know he's fought those two guys, does it matter? No, it doesn't.
Biggest ever names in the sport. This actually isn't the first time we've seen a YouTuber take on a boxing legend, because Jake's own brother Logan fought Floyd Mayweather back in 2021, as did Deji Olatunji in 2022. Both these fights were exhibitions.
As much as I don't think this fight should happen, Mike Tyson is glad to get the payday and hope he's prepared for the fight. You know what? I really think so too, bro. I do. I mean, it is fun. It is a fun fight. Like, let's be honest, it's a freak fight, right? That's what it is. And that's why everybody wants to see it, because Mike Tyson, they're all hoping for Mike Tyson knocking Jake Paul out. The problem is, Jake Paul isn't bad. Like, everybody keeps talking about him being a Disney boy. Yeah, that's many years ago. But Mike Tyson isn't... No, sorry, Jake Paul isn't bad. Mike Tyson is a better boxer, yeah, I'm sure he is, but he's slow, he's old, and he's broken his body with substances or alcohol, and he has not been kind to himself. So it's not like he is Bernard Hopkins in his 50s. Like, it's not the same.
Meaning it didn't count to any of their professional records and was more so for entertainment. And the assumption was Jake and Mike's fight would be the same. At the beginning of April, Mike confirmed this to be the case, but made it clear it wouldn't be any ordinary exhibition match.
This is called an exhibition. But if you look up exhibition, you will not see any of the laws that we're fighting under. This is a fight. And this guy's gonna come, he's gonna try to hurt me, which I'm accustomed to, and he's gonna be greatly mistaken.
If there's any man pushing 60 who can strike fear into you with that statement, it's Mike Tyson. In his day, he was an...
I don't really think Mike Tyson is as scary as he used to be. He had an aura of invincibility, and now he's lost quite a few times, and he's older, right? And it's okay. I understand that people think that he's a super scary 60-year-old, but I would be more scared of Bernard Hopkins, personally. But
an absolute animal. Most know he was a vicious fighter who dominated people in the ring, but it was his mindset that was truly terrifying. He wanted more than anything to decapitate his opponents, and his intense stare and menacing aura would break fighters before they even stepped foot in the ring.
I'm a fucking student of war. I know all the warriors from Charlemagne, Achilles, the #1 warrior of all warriors. From there, Alexander, Napoleon, I know them all.
Achilles, from what I understood, died in battle, so he can't be the #1 warrior. But I understand what he means. But if you want to talk about the #1 warrior, you talk about Miyamoto Musashi or somebody. Yeah, I think it's Miyamoto Musashi, the guy who wrote the Book of Five Rings, or Sun Tzu, who became a great general. Like, I understand what he means, but this is all, yeah.
Read them all, I studied them all. I know the art of fight. I know the art of war. That's all I ever studied.
Where's he crying?
That's why I'm so feared. That's why they feared me when I was in the ring. Because that's all I was an annihilator. That's all I was born for. And now those days are gone. It's empty. I'm nothing.
That's why. Gotcha. Makes sense.
I'm working on the art of humbleness. Can you believe in me? That's the reason why I'm crying. Because I'm not that person no more. And I miss. Because sometimes I feel like a bitch. Because I don't want that person to come out.
Now, after so many years.
Okay, I understand why he was crying afterwards. It's a little bit sad because you were once a great warrior, and now you're not, and he never managed to move on from that. It's not like he's a general. It's not like he's teaching people. It's not like he just faded away. That's kind of, I think, the feeling.
It feels like we're getting glimpses of the Tyson of old. After the fight was announced, he began posting training footage on social media, and he still looked powerful and ferocious.
But he did say he was tired after this. He said he was really tired after this.
Yes, sir, that's the one.
He does look more sluggish. If you've ever seen Mike Tyson as a young boy, he fought like nothing.
It was okay.
Like nothing mattered.
You got in store, baby. You got to face the God of War. And get ready, baby. Fire in the house.
Old man Kratos,
he seemed to be
baby.
taking the fight very seriously because on top of his strict training regime, he stopped smoking and having sex.
For 2.5 weeks, I haven't smoked. I haven't had sex for 2.5 weeks. I've been doing the whole.
He was getting more and more irritable and nasty, like he used to in the past.
But as the fight gets closer, the less nervous I become because this.
The thing is, I feel like Mike Tyson's he's doing this to relive his youth, right? And there's no real better opponent than this. It's no real better opponent. It's somebody who's brash. It's somebody who doesn't. If he dies, people don't care. They are wanting to see the old Mike Tyson back. You got all these emotions swelling up in him. He can be a warrior for one last time, and he doesn't want to give up that opportunity. I think that's really what's going on in his mind.
Reality, and in reality, I'm invincible.
On April 29th, it was reported that Jake and Mike's fight had officially been sanctioned as a professional bout. Mike posted a tweet saying, "I wasn't joking when I said this would be a real fight. See you in July at Jake Paul."
I just want to make it clear that Mike Tyson was the one who wanted it to be a pro fight. And I said to Nikisa, if that's what Mike wants, then that's fine. But make sure you tell Mike that there's no holding back. Whatever happens, and this is war now. And if Mike's okay with that, then I'm okay with that. But I want Mike to be the one making this decision because I respect him as the legend. And if he puts me down, I can deal with that. But if I put him down, he needs to be the one making the decision on whether or not he can.
This is a lose-lose for Jake, in my opinion. Yeah, it is. There's almost no win here. If you beat Mike Tyson, people are gonna laugh at him for having to fight a geriatric Mike Tyson and a 47-year-old Anderson Silva and two wrestlers in Tyron Woodley and in I don't remember the other guy's name. Curly hair, Ben Askren. If he beats him, if he gets beat by Mike Tyson, everybody's going to think like, oh yeah, you were overrated if a 58-year-old could beat you. So there is no winning. There is no such thing as a win-win here except for the money. But yeah, even if you do this, then you don't really have a prospect of any other fights, because maybe you do. Maybe his whole thing is to beat Mike Tyson and get the whole boxing community to hate him to get some big boy money. That could be it. I think maybe that is the play. Beat Mike Tyson, get the whole boxing community hating you, and get some big names at you.
Deal with that.
That's the play.
But yes, I'm going in there, and now it's a pro fight. It's on my record, and I'm going to fucking put him down. And if people are pissed about it, then watch soccer.
Despite being sanctioned as a pro fight, the terms they agreed are unusual. For one, they'll be using 14-ounce gloves instead of the standard 10-ounce, which will definitely limit punching power and therefore the likelihood of a knockout. Secondly, the fight will consist of 8 2-minute rounds, unlike a standard pro fight, which has 3-minute rounds and more of them.
There seems to be some discrepancy as to who wanted the modified rules with the bigger gloves, shorter rounds. Could both of you address that?
I wanted the shorter rounds because I wanted more action.
I don't bite. I think it's because he's short of breath and the cardio isn't there where it was anymore. And I also think that the reason why they have heavier gloves is most likely because I think Jake Paul doesn't want to get knocked out by Tyson. And I also think Tyson doesn't want to get knocked out by Jake Paul. Yeah, these rules are ridiculous, honestly.
We only have 2 minutes, we'll fight more. It's any more action.
Now, these fight rules are strange, but I think most people can live with them. What's much harder to digest is that the fight will go in both their professional records. Jake has a lot more to gain here, there's no doubt about it. Mike's legacy is cemented, whether he fights again or not, but Jake is still in the process of building his. Imagine a scenario where Jake Paul, a YouTuber and former Disney kid, gets a win over the Mike Tyson on his record.
Nobody's going to respect it. Nobody, not a single person. If you beat the 60-year-old Mike Tyson, it's not the same as beating Mike Tyson when he held the title. You know, it's not the same. I think that people overestimate the ability to look at the records. Because if you are now looking at a record and you go and you see, oh, he beat this person. Well, he beat this person in 2020. Like, wasn't Mike Tyson fighting all the way back then? But everybody that's on the internet right now, it would be much, much different if it wasn't such a recorded place. And everything is recorded now, so.
It would be madness. Then imagine if you won the fight by knockout. That image would live in people's minds forever. Whether we like it or not, a loss here would put a stain on Mike's legacy. Yet if Mike wins, it wouldn't mean all that much. Sure, it would show that he's still that guy even at his age. But ultimately, a win over Jake Paul is nothing to write home about.
Honestly, I think this guy has a fundamental mistake here. I think that if Mike Tyson wins, it actually shows the world a lot more than if Jake Paul wins. Jake Paul should win this. Jake Paul is 30 or like 28 or something, in his prime and a fairly decent big boy, right? He's not a bad boxer. If Mike Tyson wins, what that's showing the world is that Mike Tyson's still Mike Tyson. That's what it shows them. It shows himself that he's still that warrior. It shows himself that he's not the bitch, like he said in the previous clip. It's just too many things here, honestly, that Mike Tyson is showing himself rather than anything else, in my opinion. I don't actually think that this is a loss for Mike Tyson. I think it's a win-win. He gets money. He gets to get in the fight there. If he loses, he knows his days are numbered. If he wins, he feels like he's the big scary monster he was made to be.
With that being said though, it's not all upside for Jake. Over the years he's been boxing, he's built up this sort of villain persona, feeding off the hate he gets to draw more and more eyeballs to his fights. I bet half or even 3/4 of the people that watch his fights are just hoping to see him get knocked out. But to him, it's irrelevant as long as they're paying to see it. This situation though is different. Mike Tyson is a treasure in the fight community, especially for older generations. If Jake goes in there and flatlines a 58-year-old Tyson, he could be hated in the combat sports world forever. This is very different to getting hate from 15-year-old kids online, because
see, this is where you again are fundamentally mistaken. If he beats him and he gets hated in the combat sports for the rest of his life, that means that people are going to keep coming at him, almost like you have a wanted poster and everyone who wants to take your head, which means more money for him, because if he's that hated, the fight world's going to watch him and the big boys are going to come after him. Like, it's going to be champions calling him out. It's going to be big names calling him out. He's already set himself up as a heel. This is just continuing the heel.
Because whether he admits it or not, Jake craves recognition and respect in the fight game, and a knockout win over Mike would make many resent him forever.
Jake, if you knock out the biggest legend in boxing of all time, do we think the hate goes up or down? You know, so I don't get the ups.
Anybody listening to Brendan Shaw needs to turn off their brains and turn off their PCs. Brendan Shaw is probably the worst analyzer, the worst. Like, if you don't know the story of Brendan Shaw, you know, go look. He is not a person to listen to.
Side for Jake in this.
I mean, how old is Mike Tyson? 60?
57.
This guy's a bit different.
Jake Paul,
27.
You are a disgrace of a man. You are the epitome of weakness. You are the scum of the earth. The fact that you even have a platform or anything of that nature is a slight on society. You truly make me fucking disgusted. And if I ever encounter you in real life, I hope that I just don't lose my shit and go to prison.
The worrying thing is, a knockout for Jake is a possibility. As good as Mike is, he's an old man at this point, and his body simply isn't what it once was.
Sean Strickland going off is scarier, because now you think about what's the next fight, okay? What's the next fight after Mike Tyson? Sean Strickland will call him out. You probably got some of the big boys in boxing gonna call him out. Even heavyweights. You got light heavyweights. You got middleweights most likely calling him out. I don't think people understand how much of a marketing opportunity it is to knock out Mike Tyson, especially as a geriatric old man. Sean would take the fight 100%. Sean is a nut job. Sean would take any fight unless the UFC stops him from taking that fight. Unless if he has a contract with the UFC, which is weird because the UFC is not supposed to be contractually obliging to anybody if they're working for themselves. So how the UFC works is that they are independent contractors, but they are obliged to only work for the UFC, which is one of the only places in the world where being an independent contractor doesn't allow you to work for other firms, which is why they have a big lawsuit on their hands with the antitrust lawsuit.
2 years ago in 2022, Mike was seen using a cane to help him walk. And even worse, he was spotted getting around in a wheelchair.
The other day I saw a picture of you. You were in a wheelchair. What was that all about?
Oh, I have sciatica every now and then. It flares up, and when it flares up, I can't even talk.
The videos we've seen of him look good in the sense that his power and speed are still there, but they're short clips that don't give an accurate picture of how he'd perform in a real fight.
No, because
there's a reason
he doesn't want to show it.
8 2-minute rounds, and it's not just so there's more action.
And why is it going to be 8 2-minute rounds? Why is it not 3-minute rounds? Because one of the fighters is 58 fucking years old. So we've got to change the rules to give him a chance, haven't we? And if you've got to do that, well, then it's not a fair fight, is it? And if it's not a fair fight, should it be sanctioned by a commission?
That is the bigger problem. It's not that Mike Tyson or Jake Paul takes the fight. It's the fact that it's sanctioned. That's the problem. That just rules corruption in the boxing world, because you sanction a fight between a 28-year-old man and a 57-year-old man. That's insanity. Let's see. I bet he has so much damage on his body every day. Yeah, exactly. Being a heavyweight is even worse, because the fucking punishment you took, especially to things like the neck, it's just a large amount of punishment. Yeah, the body heals, yeah, but like if you're a kickboxer, I know he's not a kickboxer, you have a lot of times where you block and you get your shin blocked with another person's shin. That shit will just keep chipping away, and you'll hit some nerves every now and then, and some muscles will be damaged. So I'm sure there's something that's happened to him as well, maybe overtraining as well.
Exactly, but as we all know, money talks.
In a press conference for the fight, Mike admitted himself that his body is struggling to keep up with the demands of his training.
How is the training camp going? Because we see the 30-second clips with Rafael Cordero and your whole team, but could you give us a little more insight into how things are going?
I'm doing great, but my body is shit right now. I'm sore, I'm really sore.
I think you're playing possum.
No, I wish.
Given all of this, many people's prediction for the fight has been that Jake takes it.
Yeah,
the
of
only
course.
thing I'm worried about is Father Time. That's one thing that has never been beat. And Tyson's, he's older now. I pray that he comes out healthy, but I think Jake Paul because of youth.
Jake Paul's the type of person I think he would love nothing more than to be able to say I knocked out Mike Tyson and blah, 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 blah. So I'm quite worried for Mike Tyson, but let's see.
At this point in the build-up, Netflix had begun ramping up the promotional content as the fight was just a couple months away. However, out of nowhere, worrying news emerged about Mike's health.
How would people even? Yeah, the sanctioning of this fight is insanity. The playing of a heel for Jake Paul is absolutely fantastic. The money is it's going to roll in afterwards because people hate him. It's just so large.
Suffered a scary medical emergency while on a flight from Miami to LA. It was reported that he became nauseous and dizzy due to an ulcer flare-up 30 minutes before landing. Paramedics boarded and took care of him, and thankfully he turned out okay. But of course, it put into question whether the fight would still go ahead. The very next day, Mike posted on Twitter saying, "Now feeling 100%, even though I don't need to be to beat Jake Paul." However, just 3 days on from that, Netflix released a statement saying, "Unfortunately, Jake Paul and Mike Tyson will not face off on July 20th as planned. Tyson's recent ulcer flare-up has limited his ability to train fully for the next few weeks. The fight will be rescheduled for a date later this year, after Mike's able to resume training with no limitations, and both fighters can have equal time to prepare for this once-in-a-lifetime matchup." Jake posted a video reacting to the situation, clearly upset.
Obviously, devastating news. I'm heartbroken, speechless, like gutted. We've been working so hard over here. Everyone.
I mean, I think you could pretty much sleep and still win. But maybe I'm just being cynical here, because I have trained with a lot of professional fighters, and I've trained with a lot of professional jiu-jitsu athletes, MMA athletes, boxers. When you start hitting 60, if you have a professional boxer there that's in their early 20s, everything is just different. Speed is different. Maybe not the power, but like the speed and the cardio and the allowance of movement, the flexibility, less injuries, everything is just different.
In this camp, and I just feel bad for everyone involved in this event, the whole undercard. But Mike, if you want to do this, like you said, behind closed doors, behind the scenes, you've said you want to do this in Q4. You just need a little bit of time, so I'm ready whenever you are. This is too big of an opportunity.
Just a week later, a new fight date of November 15th was agreed.
Man, he's a big boy, Jake.
Different date, same fate. I'm gonna knock out Jake Paul.
While waiting for the new date, Jake fought mixed martial artist and bare-knuckle boxer Mike Perry.
This fight, on the other hand, I will say I was impressed by Jake Paul, because Mike Perry is no slouch and he can take a beating. Mike Perry is like kind of known in the MMA community for just being a human tank, just goes forward.
Which turned out to be a snooze fest because Perry hardly put up a fight.
This is
true. You could tell people are getting fed up with Jake having boring, one-sided fights.
But people have believed that Perry kind of threw that fight, because if you see Mike Perry in bare knuckle fighting, he's never been this passive. He's never been this passive. You see him in MMA, he's never been this passive. That's smaller gloves, and that's more danger. There was something sketchy what people were saying, but maybe he just didn't take him seriously and didn't train properly.
I'm sure he felt it. His career needed a pick-me-up, and luckily for him, promotion for his fight with Mike started back up again. During their new press conference, Mike was calm, composed, and sparing in his use of words. Jake, on the other hand, was really going at him.
You had to go on your little menopause break and postpone the fight, so yeah. What about that, dog? I was ready before. You needed a little break. Your tummy hurt? Your tummy hurt still?
I feel a lot better now.
I like it. This answer seriously.
Be in good shape because your health depends on it.
Hey, you're the one that wanted 8 2-minute rounds. You want to make it 10 threes? Don't talk to me about shape. Don't talk to me about shape.
Jake was trying his best to embarrass Mike, but it didn't seem to faze him one bit.
No, it
didn't.
Just
a couple days after this, Mike appeared on the Impulsive podcast.
Yeah. Jake Paul is such a snake. Every time he can make money, he will. He's always, if you look at older videos from Jake Paul and, Logan is such a snake. Every time you're looking at the old videos of Logan Paul and Jake Paul, you see that Logan used to be Jake's bully. And I'm fairly certain that's why he went into boxing. But pay attention. If you go to look at old videos, you can see that Logan is the bully in the family and Jake is just like a little victim trying to get his attention or affection.
Which is hosted by Jake's brother, Logan. The episode was a tough watch because throughout it came across like they were insulting Mike, but playing it off as a joke. The way Logan was talking to him showed a lack of respect. But like he did with Jake, Mike just brushed it off.
Mike, I'm gonna be honest with you. I love you, Mike.
Same.
And I'm very nervous for you.
Thank you for caring.
But if you go and see any Impulsive podcast, he is just a disgusting asshole. Like, I will say it again and again and again. He's one of the only people in the world I've seen with the face of a perpetrator and a victim both in one.
I do care. I care about you. And I care about my brother. And I know the path he's on right now. And it's ruthless, Mike.
I agree. It's pretty cool.
It's cool. It's so cool to watch. And he's really crushing it. And I just feel like I want you to be okay in there, Mike. And I want you got to take him serious, Mike, because
I take him extremely serious. I take him extremely serious. These people don't take him serious.
No, they don't. And it's such a mistake because he's a real killer, Mike. Like, he wanted to be a Navy SEAL before he started boxing. Like, in high school, he wanted to be a Navy SEAL. He wanted to go kill people on behalf of his country.
Jesus Christ.
Mike actually showed Jake respect and didn't fire back at Logan, even though Logan was clearly patronizing him.
Yeah, he was.
This is what I learned through my 58 years of experience. What my experience is that anyone's capable of killing you.
Exactly.
In my life and the way I lived my life and what I've seen, anyone's capable of killing you. So you should be apprehensive for anyone.
I think that's how you have to go into this fight. What do I know? But I just know Jake.
Oh my God, Logan Paul is such a disgusting creature. I don't understand how he has a platform like this. I really don't. Like, I understand that maybe he is interesting because he's disgusting, but how he's got such a big platform is insane. Like, I watch Joe Rogan. I watched Joe Rogan and I'm thinking, wow, I understand fully why this guy has a platform. Interesting people, interesting questions, inquisitive, very interesting. I watch Logan Paul and he's just a bully. I can't see how people just like, oh, I love Logan.
Man, and like, I just want to make sure you're okay.
I'm gonna be splendid.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate you worrying.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good night, man. I care.
Credit to Mike for handling that so calmly. A little later, Logan's co-host made a good point, which I spoke about earlier, regarding the consequences for Jake taking this fight.
If something happens to Uncle Mike, it's not gonna be fun, dude. People are gonna be angry. It's almost like a weird duality for Jake, where if he loses, it's problematic, but if he beats Uncle Mike hard and beats him up, like, that's a problem too.
This still came across as patronizing to say to Mike's face, but it is a valid point.
Yeah, it's a valid
point. I feel like
point.
At this stage, Mike's done with all the trash talking and is ready to let his fists do the talking. Yes, he's older, yes, his body isn't the same, but all it takes is one clean punch and he'll have Jake out of there. Given the health problems he's had in recent times, a lot of people are definitely underestimating him, but those closest to him appear to have a very different view.
This is the strongest I've ever seen you.
Yeah?
Yeah, the strongest I've ever, and I know you since you're 13. I think this impressed the shit out of me. Nothing.
That's what I also would have done as a coach. I'm just gonna put that out there. I would have done this as a coach just to give him all sorts of potential mental fortitude and positives. But the truth is, Mike Tyson is not the strongest he's ever been. Maybe physically, like, he can lift the most he's ever done, for all I know. But come on.
Impresses me. You know, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I don't lie. I was worried about him traveling here, traveling there. He's not getting. I can sleep now at night. This is great.
It's true that Mike looks in great shape.
He does
and from
look
what
in
he's
great
been
shape.
saying,
Holy
he
shit.
feels anything but his age.
I don't think I'm 58. Do you think I feel 58? When I'm fighting them young niggas in the gym and they're bashing me, them big strong motherfuckers, and I'm bashing them back. You think I feel 58? You think they're not trying to hurt me in that gym?
Yeah.
So they can get a reputation? Yeah. Young 30, 28-year-old motherfuckers.
Yeah.
No, they ain't get.
Henry Cejudo is he's called triple they call him triple cringe, but he has I think a gold medal in wrestling, and he used to be the champion in the UFC. Very, very, very technically sound fighter, incredibly good coach actually. So if he's saying anything here, he's to listen to.
He's still terrifying when he wants to be, that's for sure. The fight is just around the corner now, and whatever happens, it will go down in history. As much as people hate Jake and how wrong it is that he's fighting someone so much older, you gotta respect how he's managed to go from being a Disney kid and cringy YouTuber to stepping in the ring with one of the greatest heavyweight boxers of all time.
I agree, 100%.
Mike is a legend in the sport, and to see him fight one more time will be a treat for all of us. You can tell he's been itching to get back in the ring, and despite the circumstances, it's nice he has that opportunity. We'll see if he delivers on the night and finally puts an end to Jake Paul.
Actually, that was very interesting. Watch. I don't necessarily agree, but it was interesting.